Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show. I'm here to talk about some MLB news over the last 2 days. The main stories are mostly about Carlos Correa signing that massive extension with the Giants, but they postponed his press conference, introduced him to the Giants because of a medical issue that arose, which I thought maybe it's just a minor issue. Maybe it's just a little issue. If they fine, it'll be a San Francisco Giant, but turned out not to be. That's the first story I want to talk about. The New York Mets and star shortstop Carlos Correa have agreed on a 12-year, $315 million contract per Jeff Passan. This was shocking. This was not last night. I think it was the night before. And he signed that massive contract extension with the New York Mets. He's going to move to third base. He won't be playing shortstop. Him and Lindor, in the same infield. Lindor's going to be at shortstop. Correa at third base. That's going to be a great defensive infield there. With Carlos Correa, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, you're in such a good infield right there. This is a stacked super team. This is a super team, ladies and gentlemen, we're witnessing in New York. This was shocking news. It just came out of the blue late, I believe, Tuesday night. And people are clowning the Giants. But if the guy is not healthy, how are you going to pay him 330 plus? But I'll give the Mets the benefit of the doubt. If he's healthy, the Giants are definitely missing out because this guy's only 28 years old. I feel so bad for Giants fans. They thought they'd Aaron Judge, they didn't. They had Carlos Correa for 6 days, and the medical issue arises. He moves to the Mets same night. The autopsy revealed that death was due to drowning. The Mets jumped in front of the Giants after that. This is a good deal for the Mets. Getting another superstar. You can play in the infield, add to that lineup. And here's a inside story how he became a Met per Jeff Passan. So when Kane next staggered the sports world and set off a chain of events certain to reverberate, how do you say that word? Not a part of the nerd community. Through the game for years to come. The story on how Correa lost his mega deal with the Giants about 10 hours later, agreed to another with the New York Mets, was pieced together by ESPN through interviews with people involved in the negotiations as well as those with knowledge of the situation. It is a tale of how a team eager to sign a star this winter would wound up empty-handed, and another replicate with big names wound up with one more. As a case study of how a team like the Giants, whose meticulousness defines their roster building, contrasts with the Mets, whose owner is remaking the sport in real time with the truckfuls of cash, and it is a peek inside a hotel room in San Francisco, where excitement devolved into devastation before accumulating joy. So sitting in the St. Regis on Tuesday afternoon, Correa and Boras got to work. Correa had braved a disappointing free agency a year earlier. This time, stakes were even higher. They discussed contingency plans, and almost immediately they would launch one. Don't regroup, don't wait a week, go get a deal now, because if the Giants weren't going to lavish Correa with money, someone else would. So this is an inside story of how he became a Met. If the Giants weren't going to lavish Correa with money, someone else would after the failed medical, I believe. They had some concerns, and when I get to it near the end, this is gonna be the stupidest shit ever. But I love this for the Mets. But get you another superstar to add to that team. That's gonna be a great team next year. The Baltimore Orioles next. They've acquired catcher Jace McCann from the New York Mets. It's another story here, ladies and gentlemen, involving the New York Mets. They've got rid of James McCann for a player to be named later. Whoever that player is, a small price to pay for salvation. Orioles are getting more action than San Francisco. And people say, "Oh, why they have Adley? He can't catch every game, and and James McCann can be a mentor and a possible DH if he finds a stride again. He's not going to be a full-time catcher." Mostly because he'll be a DH. Mostly he'll be a DH. But yeah, good deal for the Mets to get rid of because James McCann's falling off. The Yankees have recently been in contact with the Pirates regarding outfielder Brian Reynolds per J.P. Morosi. He notes that Pittsburgh prefers, in quotes, young starting pitchers in a potential deal. And I don't know if it's happening. The Yankees don't have really many pitching prospects that would interest the Pirates. Maybe Herman, Vasquez, Gill, possibly some good young pitching prospects. And it is Pittsburgh. It doesn't surprise me one bit if they let them go. All they do is let talented players go to other teams. Apparently, Pirates ownership enjoys being in the division basement every year. The Yankees have top 3 rotation in the game, so I feel like they can afford to get some young prospects. But they want a proven young MLB talent as well, most likely, I would say. You could probably give up Gill, Devy, if that's what they want. This would be the most underrated pickup of the offseason, whoever gets Brian Reynolds. He's so good. On the other hand, I could prove Judge has been named team captain for the Yankees, 16th team captain in Yankees history. He deserves it. Had 62 homers last year, so he's definitely their best player and team captain. Danny Mendick signs with the Mets, 1-year deal. I love this deal for the Mets. Mendick hit like 289 last year. He had like a 343 on base or something, 343 slugging, a 443 on base, something like that. In 106 play appearances, they get 4 years of control. Great deal for the Mets. They've had such a great offseason. One of the best off seasons, in my opinion, of all time. Will Myers to the Reds, a 1-year contract. Jumps to $9.5 million based on playing time, or if he's traded, it's a mutual option for 2024. Source tells ESPN, decent move. They'll probably trade him though, I'd bet. The San Francisco Giants. Here's the big topic. Here's why they didn't keep him, or why they didn't pretty much back out the contract. It's they reportedly had concerns over Carlos Correa's broken fibula injury from 2014, 8 years ago, which led to Correa getting surgery on it per Jeff Hassan. He also noted the Giants feared, quote-unquote, concerned the long-term stability of his leg and the potential for Correa to quickly lose the mobility that won him a platinum glove in 2021. And, quote, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, man. All because of a broken fibula injury from 2014. AL franchise, just an AL franchise. I don't know how you can be worried over an injury from 2014, 8 years ago. This is just stupid. On the day of Julie Post's funeral, AL franchise, man. Ridiculous how an 8-year-old injury is going to affect him. I don't see how it's going to affect him. It was 8 years ago and he was 19. So they were afraid of him getting older and him getting an injury. Massive, massive L from the San Francisco Giants. To be saying, and particularly saying at the time that he's alleged to have said it. Police over an injury that happened a decade ago. They probably checked the bank account, seen they were in the negative, so they're probably like, oh, we're not going to give him this contract. And Farhan better get fired. I can't believe they let this happen. But we just got some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, about my Dodgers, about Trevor Bauer's initial 324-game suspension under the domestic violence policy. It's been reduced to 194 games by an arbitrator. It's ending a 7-month grievance process. He's eligible to pitch effective immediately, even though the suspension that was upheld by the arbitrator is longer than the amount he served since the initial suspension. And the arbitrator is basically giving him credit for the time he was on the restricted list. But he still has to pay back for that time, so. Is a non-caring person that had this alibi, who had everything down pat. I mean, he didn't change his story. So It's crazy, man. His suspension is being basically reduced, but we got more news from Bob Nightingale. The Dodgers plan to release Trevor Bauer. They plan to release him, but they haven't made a decision yet. They plan to release him, which is interesting. Which, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't think anybody would want him on the team, honestly, in the Dodgers clubhouse. The Reds, they DFA'd Mike Moustakas today, which is not surprising. Kirk Cousins returned to the Reds on a one-year contract. And the White Sox are listening to trade overturns for overtures. Their current plans to retain All-Star closer Liam Hendricks in hopes they can bounce back and win that division. But we'll see. I doubt they're going to trade him though. But yeah, Tyler Nevin, the son of Angels manager, he's been DFA'd by the Orioles, so he might go to the Angels. Let's go there with his dad. But yeah, that's all for this video for the MLB. So until next time, Peace.